Just had a little mini heart attack.
We had to change our plans a little bit.
Super cool experience.
Just working out in the parking lot of Mammoth Cave's Visitor Center.
We're Erin and Brandon. We spent this past summer converting an empty cargo van into a tiny home on wheels and hit the road with the goal of visiting 50 national parks. If you missed our last episode, we spent a few days comparing van life to RV life with Brandon's brother and sister-in-law in the Great Smoky Mountains.
So far, RV versus van life, I'm voting for van life.
Now that we've figured out van life was the right choice for us, we headed to our 46th national park.
We have just left Asheville. We had to say goodbye to Ben and Carly, but we had a really good visit with them. We kind of put the camera down for a couple days and just enjoyed being with some family. So we are just hitting the road now. We are actually heading north up to Kentucky. We had to change our plans a little bit because for Mammoth Caves National Park, you have to get a reservation, and we didn't look at it until a couple days before. There were no reservations for a tour that week, so we pushed it back, and we will be heading there tomorrow. So we're heading up to Kentucky, staying somewhere on the border of Tennessee and Kentucky tonight, and then driving to Mammoth Caves tomorrow.
If you know one thing about us, you know we have really enjoyed our time in caves. We were like geeking out big time when we were at Carlsbad Cavern National Park in New Mexico.
It was like one of the coolest things we've done this entire road trip, hands down.
I think one of the coolest things we've just ever done.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anything can live up to that experience that we had, which was so freaking cool. Watch that episode, we'll link it. So we're kind of retracing our steps, seeing some things that we've already seen. Not necessarily the most direct route, but we'll get there eventually, and I'm excited to tour the caves.
We stayed in this convenient spot right off the highway last night. Wasn't necessarily the quietest spot, but it got the job done. And now we are heading to Mammoth Caves in Kentucky.
Let's get going. I just had a little mini heart attack because our tour starts at 1:30. I was reading through the email and it said, be aware, Mammoth Caves National Park is in Central Time. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Central Time. Later or earlier, later or earlier. But now we have an extra hour. So let's do it. We stopped by the visitor center to pick up our tickets for the tour we reserved about a week ago. The tour is at 1:30, but since we were going from Eastern Time to Central Time, we actually gained an hour. So I think I'm gonna make some lunch, and Brandon's over here working. What you doing?
Just working out in the parking lot of Mammoth Caves Visitor Center. You know, when you don't have a gym, you just gotta find a spot wherever you are to exercise. There's not enough room to run around the van, so the parking lot it is. Thanks. Appreciate it. Usually I make the sandwiches, but let's see how this is. It's very good. Thank you, Erin.
That was a Brandon special with mozzarella, tomato, pesto, balsamic. That was my first time making that sandwich because it's normally Brandon's go-to. But what do you think, Brandon? As you're shoving your face, I guess
I'm already
it's pretty
halfway
good.
through it. It's very good. Well done. You're just gonna film me eat it.
Yeah.
Rest of the episode, well, won't be very long.
So if you could help us protect it, we certainly do appreciate that, and you can do that by not littering.
So the only way you can see the caves, at least right now, is by doing a guided tour, which we have never actually done a guided tour in a national park yet because of COVID, and we're normally trying to stay away from people. But definitely want to check out this cave system. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Oh, that's cool.
So we just learned from Ranger Josh that this is the longest cave system in the world. Not the biggest or the largest, but the longest from point A to point B. It's roughly 400 miles. Mammoth Cave was established as a national park in 1941 and a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1981. It has been many things in between though, like a mine for saltpeter to make gunpowder, a tuberculosis hospital, and a place for a park ranger to play harmonica by candlelight. Woo!
We just got out of the cave in Mammoth Caves and we had an amazing time. It was a really cool cave, but the footage might not be great because it's very dark inside of a cave. There's an absence of light. So we did our best to film it, but we had a really great experience, and we found out that they actually have about 11 different tours, and a couple of those are spelunking tours through the cave. So we definitely want to come back to Mammoth Caves when they're offering those tours again, because apparently you get to crawl through places, you get to go through the water, like way down into the cave. So we're gonna be back Mammoth Caves for sure.
And the trail that we did was only 2 miles out of the over 400 miles that the Mammoth Cave system has. I think it was super cool experience. We don't often do guided tours, but for something like this, you get such a rich history and a even better experience than you would have had if you were by yourselves. So thank you to our tour guide, Ranger Josh.
Ranger Josh.
Shout out.
So now we are going to go to our harvest host for tonight. We're staying at a nice winery near the national park. So we're gonna head on over there and have a wine tasting. We are at our harvest host having a nice wine tasting. It's called Bluegrass Vineyard, and we have these really nice tasting plates that are the shape of Kentucky. Some cheese and crackers, and we're just gonna enjoy our tasting and then sleep in our van in the parking lot.